Gators wide receiver Van Jefferson has been traded by the Rams to the Falcons. It's 79 degrees at 6 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our three sports-loving ladies, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Mia O'Brien.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Driven by Tire Outlet.
Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
And First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
Not only is it a Victory Tuesday around here, but it's also a very fun night, a very special night as we are live here at the Alhambra ahead of Legally Blonde, the musical. Taylor, you were just telling Frank that you sang a little bit and did some music in your history, in your past.
I did.
Would you love to play Elle in something like that?
Oh no, I actually tried drama also, and that one didn't go as well for me.
Really?
Yeah, my best friend was like I was more of like the chorus girl. She was the drama girl. And we both kind of tried the other side just to see if we liked them. And she could do the chorus side. I could not do the drama side. I got too nervous, and I'm a terrible actor. A lot of it, especially in the beginning, is like monologues when you're first starting to do drama. So it's just standing up there by yourself reciting like entire paragraphs of stuff, and my brain just doesn't function that way. So we did see Legally Blonde, actually. I think it was like my sophomore year. We watched, it was just like on tape when you'd roll the TVs out and put the VHS in. But it was on tape Legally Blonde, and it was super fun. So I've seen bits of the show, and it's great. But definitely not for me to do.
Well, it's going to be a fantastic night. I know that if you've been to the Alhambra in the past, in the recent past, then you know food is absolutely to die for. You get to choose from your 3-course menu, and it is just, such good food. And then, of course, all the entertainment is great as well. So like you mentioned in the handoff, I was not able to come a couple weeks ago when we were supposed to come. My cousin did come. She said it's fantastic. There's dogs in this.
Oh, live real dogs?
Yes, live real dogs. And so people
Bruiser
are going
Woods,
to be.
baby.
That's right. People are going to be treated to quite the fun night. And I love that so many people are wearing pink. That's fun as well. All right, so let's get it to Victory Tuesday. Mia, the Jaguars go 2-0 in London. I think the majority of people thought the Jaguars would lose to the Bills, myself included. But last week on our show, when we were live at Daly's Place, you said you think the Bills matchup is better for the Jaguars than the Falcons. I think my jaw dropped. I was so surprised. So did you pick the Jaguars to win the game outright on your show?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And
so you put your money where your mouth
Yeah, I did. And it was funny because I had people coming up to me because we made our predictions Friday at Furyk and Friends, which was obviously a great time as well at Constellation Furyk and Friends in Timuquana. And I actually had some of our listeners who were volunteers come up to me and say, did you really just pick the Jags to beat the Bills? And I was like, yeah, because I was like, quite frankly, people in this town love to talk about the Jags having the Chiefs in their heads. Clearly, as Bills Mafia exhibited in the past 48 hours, the Bills are in the Jags, or excuse me, the Jags are in the Bills' heads. Their fans' heads, their players, their front office. I mean, it's kind of weird, though, I will say, if you look at their last few meetings, where you have the 9-6 victory in the Urban Meyer era, you have the wacky playoff game in 2017, which was also a low-scoring affair, the Leonard Fournette fight, we're going to throw that one from 2018 out the window. And the history of this rivalry has been such a low-scoring affair. And so that's why when we got to the start of the fourth quarter, and this one was still, what was it, 11-7, 11-0 at that point, I was like, yeah, this is pretty much par for the course. And it plays into the Jags' hand because if the Bills had gotten out to a 2-3 score lead, that's where it may have been a little bit difficult. But as long as the Jags defense was able to lock down early, I had a feeling that if Trevor and the offense started clicking, the reality was that they had that week across the pond to get settled in, and they also were starting to find out who they were as a team. And I felt like if you could force Josh Allen into uncomfortable situations, if you were playing ahead, just like the Jets did week one, then you had a recipe for success.
Josh Allen.
The other Josh Allen, not the Josh Allen that was mic'd up by Jaguars.com, which actually just dropped on their YouTube.
Very nice. Yeah, I think, Taylor, the reason I was not confident is because the Jaguars' offensive line had struggled with really good pass rushers, interior and exterior pass rushers. And when it came to the offense clicking, like Mia just talked about, we hadn't seen it yet. And, yes, the Jaguars in week one put up 31 points, but we all walked away from that very first game against the Colts going, man, they did not play the way we expected. They left a lot out there. And they still left some points out there against the Bills, but the offense finally looked like, okay, that's what we saw in training camp in the blistering sun. That's what, when we saw Calvin Ridley get added to this team, that's the offense that we thought we would see eventually. We thought we'd see it to begin the season, but now that the season's underway, we finally got to see it.
Yeah, and I think that's for me, because my comment last week was, if they play like they have these first 4 weeks, there's no way.
Yep.
That was my whole thing, because from what they've showed me the first 4 weeks, they were not the team that we had. I was just waiting. Okay, eventually I thought it would happen, but I didn't know which week it would happen. Happening in London against the Bills is obviously fantastic, but that's where my head was. They hadn't proven to me yet that they were getting there, and that was the Calvin Trevor connection that I've been waiting to see happen. And I had a feeling, that was another thing preseason that I said often, that I expected to take 4, 5, 6 weeks for them to really start getting on that page, and it seems like they're getting there. So that's exciting, because if this is just a glimpse of what Trevor and Calvin can be moving forward, then this is going to be really fun. The one thing that was most exciting to me personally, and I think that they started strong. You felt like the offense came out quick, which is something we've talked about a lot. It was a little bit of a lag in between. There was like 2.5 quarters of not much. You were getting first downs and things like that. But the thing that really made me the most excited was the third downs, because that was something that has just been so bad the first 4 weeks of like, why can't we figure out converting on third downs? And no matter what they were trying, you felt like it just wasn't working. It was falling short. And this week, Trevor's numbers on third down, and that's a lot to Trevor, but in general, the play calling on third downs looked better. Trevor looked better on third downs. Route running looked better on third downs. Everything you could ask for looked like it took a massive step up in an area that needed to be majorly fixed. And I think that was such a key part of this win.
Yeah, it certainly was. I think the other key part, and we all want to talk, of course, about the offense, because that's what we've been waiting to see, but the defense again played lights out. I mean, yes, to allow 20 points to the Bills, a team that came in with an average margin of victory other than week 1 of 30 points. Like, you don't even hear about that in the NFL typically. You might have one game where a team goes off like the Cowboys in week 1, right?
Yeah.
Or the Dolphins in, week 3. And so to have a team that was averaging that, the defense, to me, Mia, has been incredible. You've got guys stepping up like Darius Williams with picks in back-to-back weeks. You've got Tyson Campbell, who continues to play well, certainly just had the one touchdown allowed by Stephon Diggs. But, I mean, if I told you going into the game that's all they're going to allow by Diggs, you would have thought, okay, this is going to be a game where certainly the Jaguars are in it.
It's been a pleasant surprise, because all the early returns I was hearing was, I'm not so sure about this. I'm not so sure on hedging this bet on, because our offense is going to score a lot of points and we're going to be playing with the lead. Therefore, the defense will have more opportunities. Because, quite frankly, they haven't played with the lead up until the last 2 weeks all that often the first 3 weeks of the season. And so I think there were a lot of people within the building itself that questioned whether or not they had the guys in the building, and that development was the key, not bringing in more bodies. So far, though, it's been proven that it works. They do have guys that can play and guys that play well together, which I think is a big key to this, and that's why they've been so hesitant to bring in other pieces. Although, for what it's worth, Jaguar fans listening out there, I do think Trent Baalke is paying attention to the trade block. I think he recognizes that K'Lavon Chaisson had 25 snaps and 0 pressures, which I've said I think 3 times on the air today, because it blows my mind that Yasir Abdullah had 8 or 9 snaps and still recorded a pressure. And meanwhile, here we are. So I do think that they're being active in that regards, but at the same time, they like who they have, and even if maybe they don't look as great on the practice field as the Jags organization was hoping, they show up on Sundays, and that's what matters most.
And another thing to me, too, because you were talking about points-wise, what the Bills had coming in here and what they were unable to do against the Jaguars, and it shows how much the Jags got into their head at a certain point of the game, too, because the amount of penalties they had, too. They had more penalties in this game than I think they did all previous 4 weeks combined, and that's something that, yeah, you could say maybe we hear the excuses on Twitter of, jet lag in London, and that's a part of it. You can say that, but at the same time, when you're playing a team that you are feeling intimidated by, and you maybe weren't coming in fully prepared, that's when those sloppy mistakes start to happen. And you were seeing those on players like Ed Oliver, who's one of the, that's a guy you talk about constantly as being a veteran, strong defensive player on the Bills, and he was making mistakes. And when guys like that start making mistakes, that's when you know that you started to rattle them a little bit, and that's the point that it was at on Sunday.
So did y'all see any Bills fans complaining about the game?
Oh, just a few.
couple.
Just a few. I've seen a lot of Jaguar fans have some fun, and the parody accounts have got me cracking up of breaking. The Buffalo Bills now must require that they play every game halfway from Buffalo, that it needs to be at a neutral site, that next time they go to London, they need to play 2 games because they need to get right. They also need a week off before they play the first game there. So, yeah, I mean.
I think it had been since 2015 since they had been
correct.
there. So, and we say that's the one thing I do understand, because not every team, the Jags play all the time. Other teams hate it, and they don't want to go there. The Jags are used to it, and we say that every week when we are going to London, or every year when we are going to London. We do say, well, like, we're used to it. We're more comfortable. They know how to do it now. So it is a little bit of an advantage. It has become a little bit of an advantage because you've seen other teams just really not be able to figure that out, and especially when you haven't been there in whatever that is now, 8 years. But not a big enough excuse when you have someone like Josh Allen in an offense that had been doing what they were doing in previous weeks.
Yeah, to me, if I'm a Bills fan, the problem was certainly the injuries. Yeah, and the offense just didn't. Yeah, the offense just wasn't able to do anything against the Jaguars' defense. But there were massive injuries. I don't blame the turf. That's football. And some days you end up having multiple players go down. Now, unfortunately for them, they ended up with 2 that are probably going to be lost at least for the majority of the season. Yeah. But again,
after already missing 2 going into the game.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, it's rough. That I get that. I wouldn't have blamed the officials. I wouldn't have blamed the London travel. The Jaguars up until this game were 5-5 in London.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there would be an advantage. Now, maybe in the early years when the Jaguars used to go, there was no such advantage for traveling over there because the team's roster was so bad.
More so just being there 2 weeks now.
Sure, yeah. And I think the one thing that it seemed like was this team overall left with a sense of, man, we just shot ourselves in the foot when it came to the loss to the Texans. And they kind of needed to get out of their own headspace. And this trip gave them 2 full weeks, bonding, certainly a little bit of sightseeing, but moreover, just time to get away and the change of scenery. It seems like did everyone good from the coaching staff down to the players.
Yeah, I think that they, again, to Doug Peterson's point, they were reading their press clippings. They were online. They saw what the national media was saying. They read that Pete Prisco had them in the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden they didn't look like that team. And so I think that's where getting away, resetting some things, the biggest of which for me was reevaluating what Calvin Ridley is good at and how they could get him the ball in the best, most efficient way. Coach Campo said this today on Primetime, and I couldn't agree more, that the drops you saw from Calvin Ridley were when he was when he was cutting across the field and he was in the slot, or as opposed to throwing outside to the boundary, where he is most successful running out routes. How many out routes on Sunday went for 2nd or 3rd down conversions to Calvin Ridley? It was unbeatable. I know Mina Kimes tweeted it because it was just instant, dynamite. That, the go route that he was able to navigate his way to on the 3rd down conversion, that was obviously critical. You are seeing this team adjusting, like Taylor said, to having Calvin Ridley and learning what he can do. And that's as simple as Trevor just saying, all right, Calvin, like, what do you want to do? And then going to press and saying, I am only throwing to him in these situations. That is what we're going to do, and it's going to help us. And it does, especially when Christian Kirk is so good over the middle. Evan Ingram's so good over the middle. You don't have to worry about throwing it to him in traffic.
And now that you have that, once you start having that Calvin option consistently and people have to start planning around that, look what ETN can do after that. And it's just the moment that you felt like Trevor snaps the ball at the 3rd down. He's looking for Calvin. You're like, he's probably going to find him near the sideline because that's what had been happening the whole game, which was great. But at the same time, it opened opportunities for ETN that we've been waiting for. I love ETN. He's probably personally, especially after this last week, one of my favorite players on the Jags, and it's like kind of grown within the last year. But being able to watch him just kind of blossom into this player that we know he can be, and every week getting better, it's so exciting for me.
Yeah, it certainly is. And look, to start the game with a 16-yard completion to Luke Farrell, I certainly did not see
that wasn't on your
coming.
Hey, listen, I mean, it's been the second,
and that was awesome.
Second time in 5 games that in the first 12 plays, they're scripting getting Luke Farrell the ball, which is certainly one way to surprise the opposition. And,
that's how you do it.
He has a great family too, Lauren.
Yeah.
Don't you forget.
Well, it's not that. It's just more. We know him to be more of the blocking tight
Yeah.
end, and when the Jaguars throw the ball, they're usually looking for to a tight end. They're usually looking for Evan Ingram, if not maybe a little bit of Brenton Strange. And so to start off the bat with him,
We're
it's
like,
like,
that was fun.
well, I love that whatever you're doing, you're starting to be a little bit more creative,
Yeah.
and certainly getting the ball and having the horizontal speed from Ridley and from Kirk, like that was great to see too. And so certainly we hope that continues.
Now
and
let's do it at home.
Now let's win for the first time in Jacksonville. Technically, the Falcons game was a home game, so I guess you could say the Jaguars have a home win, but not at Everbank Stadium. So, yeah, we're going to get to that game in just a minute. Gardner Minshew, it looks like we'll get the start on Sunday, so we will break down Jaguars Colts. You are listening to Helmets and Heels live from the Alhambra Theater ahead of Legally Blonde, the musical, right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
We knew it was going to be a dogfight. It was going to be a four-quarter game.
Looks, fires to the back of the end zone. Caught for the touchdown. Zay Jones.
Things are beginning to kind of gel for them.
Took all three phases.
What an interception inside the 10-yard line.
Crunch time. The offense had to go down and have a drive.
He bursts out of there. Travis Etienne. Gonna put a nail in this thing.
We just have to keep moving in the right direction. I feel like we're doing it as a team. Statement game. The next one could be even bigger.
We're 5 in. We've got plenty of football ahead of us.
The next one is a divisional opponent.
The Indianapolis Colts, Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars, 1010XL.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, you have told us about the importance of cutting a diamond properly and about color and weight. But how do you judge the clarity of a diamond?
Frank, that's a good question that has a very specific answer. Diamonds are graded at 10-power magnification using a binocular microscope. But when you're shopping for diamonds, a lot of times a sales clerk will just hand you a magnifying glass called a jeweler's loupe and have you look into the diamond. While an expert knows how to do this, it's kind of tough on a novice because they don't know how to create the same dark field illumination that a binocular microscope gives. As a result, the customer may or may not be able to see anything. That's why at Underwoods we set the clarity grade of a diamond with a binocular microscope. We have these instruments in every store and invite our customers to examine the diamond underneath them. We can show you the microscopic inclusions that affect the rarity and value of a diamond. So if you're shopping for fine quality diamonds and want the facts, come see us at Underwoods.
That's Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Now at Hodges Mazda, the 2023 Mazda CX-5 offers a harmonious balance of responsive handling and effortless acceleration. Turn heads when you lease the critically acclaimed 2023 Mazda CX-5 for only $309 a month. Lauren Brooks here. Plus, all vehicle purchases come with 2 years of free maintenance. The sales staff works on salary, not commission, allowing Hodges Mazda to put your best interests first. That is the Hodges Mazda difference. Visit Hodges Mazda today or online at hodgesmazda.com. See dealer for details. $2,999 due at lease signing. Terms and fees for qualified lessees. 36-month lease expires October 31st, 2023.
Are you facing the challenges of divorce? Uncertain about your financial future? Look no further than Kristen Vanez, both a CFP professional and a certified divorce financial analyst with Otterson Wealth Advisors of Raymond James. Kristen specializes in empowering people like you during one of life's most challenging times. She works side by side with your divorce attorney while helping you understand the potential financial impact of various scenarios. Don't face divorce alone. Otterson Wealth Advisors. Your goals, our expertise.
Raymond James Associates, Inc., member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC.
Clearwater. John, I can't even mow my side yard. It's so soggy. Man, my builder sucks.
Brent, calm down. This is a common problem in neighborhoods where houses are built too close together. You need gutters and a properly installed French drain that will soak up subsurface water. We can completely dry it up.
So I can take my builder off my speed dial now, huh?
Yeah, we got you, buddy. Let that builder bitterness go.
Clearwater Irrigation and Drainage too.
It's about the hunt.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman.
We take you from the water to the woods.
On the Nimnit Outdoors Show, presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services.
Let's go to the woods, y'all.
Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Hey, this is Jason with Bueller Air Conditioning. Why do we love to go to that awesome grocery store where shopping is a pleasure? Why do we choose that amazing chicken sandwich where the service is fast and friendly and it's always their pleasure? You see, those brands are a promise. Here at Bueller Air, our team is committed to serving the customer and delivering that same kind of brand promise. Our mission is to be the most trusted brand with friendly and professional service every single time. Give us a call today or visit BuellerAir.com.
If you're looking for exterior solutions that provide you reliability and durability, it's time to call Armor Guard Exteriors. Whether you need seamless gutters or gutter protection, hurricane products, impact windows, glass lanais, or retractable awnings and screens, we've got you covered. Call My Home Team today for your 5-star experience at 904-906-8669.
Armor Guard Exteriors, committed to quality, and that's a promise.
Mia here, and I'm on the Brackish vodka train too. Brackish has some exciting news for all you fans out there, as they've just introduced 2 new incredible flavors that are sure to elevate your experience. Get ready to meet espresso and elderflower. First up, espresso. Made with rich Cuban coffee and a touch of chocolate confessions, it's not too sweet and perfectly balanced, just like your favorite plays on the field. Drink like a local. Drink Brackish Vodka, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you an experienced automotive technician and tired of working for employers who put profit over people? Then come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road and get trained on how to diagnose and rebuild today's complex transmissions. See how we're different. Get traction on your career and come to Action.
Equal opportunity employer.
Ticket here, Zero Res turns 19 this month. To celebrate, just say happy birthday, Zero Res, and they'll give you $50 off your cleaning. Some minimums may apply, so give them a call. Happy birthday, Zero Res. Spelled forwards or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Experience the Kanaya Water System's difference, bringing purity and affordability right to your tap. Say goodbye to hard water woes and hello to clean, soft water for your family. Search KENAI Water Jacksonville.
Visionaries, builders, and doers, are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels, driven by Tire Outlet.
Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
And First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL. Best day of the work week gets even better at 3 o'clock.
Yes! With Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Rehabilitation Football Friday night.
High school, college, Jaguars, and NFL.
All right!
On 1010XL.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, ensuring those who serve.
Being the primary breadwinner in your marriage is a huge responsibility, but that doesn't mean you should continue to be the primary breadwinner after your divorce, too. The attorneys at the Florida Women's Law Group will work hard to make sure you're not responsible for supporting your ex any more than necessary. I'm Heather Quick, owner and attorney of Florida Women's Law Group. Learn how we can help at FloridaWomen'sLawGroup.com. Florida Women's Law Group. Divorce for women, by women. Offices, Jacksonville.
Helmets and Heels, driven by Tire Outlet.
Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
And First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
Welcome back to Helmets and Heels. Taylor Dahl is here. Mia O'Brien. I'm Lauren Brooks. Tom Champion making it all happen from here. And JJ La Silva back at 1010XL headquarters. We are live here at the Alhambra Theater on Beach Boulevard. Legally Blonde, the musical, kicks off at 7:30 tonight. It started just a couple weeks ago and runs through November 5th. There are only a couple of pairs of tickets available for the show. So if you want to go, make sure you get your tickets today, alhambrajacks.com. All right, let's review our Impact players versus the Bills. I had Travis Etienne and Tyson Campbell. Mia had Tank Bigsby and Tyson Campbell, although she substituted if Zay plays, Zay Jones would be her offensive pick. JJ La Selva had Trevor Lawrence and Josh Allen, and Taylor, you picked the other Josh Allen, along with edge rushers Leonard Floyd, Greg Rousseau. We didn't know at the time Rousseau would be
playing or not,
yeah, ruled out. But I would say, honestly, other than Tank Bigsby, which you substituted out, Mia, I would say everybody really had an impact. And fortunately for the Jaguars, Leonard Floyd did
get
make
2 sacks.
Yeah, he did get 2 sacks, but I would say he didn't overwhelm the offensive line and cause that type of a game where
that was
like
more
Chris Jones
Epinesa.
against
That guy was
Epinesa, absolutely.
everywhere.
Yeah, he played a really good game, and so I mean they had defensive players have good games, but I would say overall the Jaguars' offensive players were able to negate that with some really big plays, some explosive plays, and that was really good to see. All right, so let's pick our impact players going up against the Colts. I will kick things off. I'm going to give you on the offensive side of the ball, Calvin Ridley. Taylor, who you got?
So my opposite ones, I am going Gardner Minshew.
Okay.
I think I have to say that. It's easy. I could have said Zach Moss and obviously Jonathan Taylor with both of them, and their running game has been strong. But I think because of that and because of just the history of Gardner Minshew and us knowing the Minshew magic when it happens, I have to go Minshew.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I have wondered, Mia, will people be wearing Jaguars shirts or Jaguars jerseys that have Minshew's face, mustache, his old
just to be
number
kind of
here.
like ironic.
Yeah, just to be like, we'd still support him.
But we hope he lose.
Just other than when he plays against the Jaguars. Who do you have on offense?
On offense, I have Brandon Scherf because I believe that the combination of Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner is the biggest task at hand for the Jaguars as an entire collective, not just for the offense. I believe that those two guys, probably one of the best duos in the league that we don't talk about nearly enough. And then on the defensive side of the ball, similarly in the trenches, I have Roy Robertson Harris. I wouldn't call it a slow start as much as I would. He's having to do a lot more than he probably was asked to do, or especially more than he did in the back half of last season because of the absence of Devon Hamilton, because it's two younger guys, well, a younger guy in Jeremiah Ledbetter, and then two more veteran guys in Angelo Blackson and Adam Gotsis in the middle. And so he's had to kind of compensate a little bit. Be the guy.
Yeah.
And so I think he's going to need a big day, though, because the guard play and the center play for Indy after was much maligned in the offseason, including by yours truly, has really come on of late. And so they've been able to run the ball, and I think stopping the run, obviously Zach Moss with 2 touchdowns and a killer day last week against the Titans. Jonathan Taylor will be at full strength is the assumption. Yeah, you need to stop the run, and you also need to affect the quarterback.
JJ, who do you have for offense and for defense?
Let's go with Walker, just because I think Minshew runs himself into some sacks, so maybe he can get one. And Kirk didn't do much against Indy last time.
All right, I think those are 2 good ones. And certainly for people clamoring to see more of Trayvon Walker, you'd like to think that this is a game where they can get after the quarterback, because this is not necessarily a mobile quarterback like Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew. He has mobility, but not necessarily going to take off for those long runs. Defensively, I will go Foye Oluokun, to Mia's point about the rushing attack. I don't know whether it's going to be Zach Moss, Jonathan Taylor, a split carry system that they're going to employ on Sunday or what. But Foye Oluokun, who's played extraordinarily well all season, I heard Jeff Lageman talking about him either last week or this week about his motor.
Yeah.
And how his last play of the game is still the same intensity as the first game, same speed, same athleticism, and it's just unbelievable. And I've been complaining all week that Rich Eisen did not know how to pronounce
Oh my gosh, I was
Foye
just about to say
Oluokun's
that.
name.
It was driving me insane.
He's the leading tackler in the NFL for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
You are in the NFL as far as every single day, and you're calling the game learn how to pronounce
also,
a freaking name.
He had to say that name multiple times.
Sure.
You would think he would prepare for
that. And if you don't know it, then just say Foye, I suppose, right? Like for crying out loud.
I tweeted it the first time, and then it happened like 3-4 more times, and I was like, okay. You would think at this point someone would be like, by the way, you're saying this wrong.
Right, and it's really not that hard. Like there are certain names in the NFL that can be quite difficult.
Yeah.
But Oluokun is not one of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then Taylor, who else you got?
So I'm going to stick with kind of the same way that I went last week with the ends. As much as Mia talked about like their interior, obviously Kwity Paye and Samson Ebukam, I believe that's how you say that too. That's one that I have to look at before I criticize.
Thank you for researching it.
I did research it, but they have 6 sacks between the two of them, and Kwity also has a couple fumble recoveries. We saw last week the fumble, a little bit of a fumbling issue, and especially when guys are coming around that edge, got to Trevor kind of quickly when Cam missed on a block. So you hopefully those things don't happen again, but you also just want to give Trevor time, because when Trevor has time, it's absolutely beautiful, and he can do it under pressure too. But when he has time, it's just a different world. So both of those ends, in addition to the interior, you're going to have to watch out for. But
Samson definitely, Samson was an underrated pickup for the Colts this offseason, absolutely, and obviously had an impact.
He's one of those
week one.
Goes after the ball type of guys too. Like he doesn't technically always go for the sack. He goes to get the ball out, and that's what a lot of times obviously turns into turnovers. And you saw it a lot. A lot of his highlights were games where he's knocking the ball out of the hand and forcing fumbles and getting fumble recoveries, and then those things obviously completely flip the game. So let's stay away from that this week.
Absolutely. And no turnovers would be great.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. But continue to get the takeaways, just no turnovers on the Jaguars side. All right. When it comes to the Jaguars offensive line, we've certainly talked a lot about that. There are some key injuries there. So, Mia, what is the latest when it comes to the Jaguars injury report?
The personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah present this injury update. Farah and Farah,
Jacksonville,
the official personal injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So let's begin with the 2 big names this week that suffered injuries on that turf that Bills fans are still clamoring about at Tottenham at Spurs. Zay Jones re-aggravated that same knee injury that he's been fighting the last few weeks. He is officially listed by the team, per Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network, as a day-to-day, week-to-week situation, much like has been the case the last 4 weeks. Walker Little, I have been told, and I reported this afternoon, that it is an MCL sprain. He is technically listed as week to week. I am told that the results of that MRI were much better than anyone in the building could have asked for, to the point that he may push to practice this week. I personally would expect the Jags to exercise caution. Obviously, Tyler Shatley came in, and while he wasn't all world, he obviously has proven over the past 10 years what he can do here in Jacksonville. It'll be curious to see who they go with at that left guard spot. But I have been told that if Walker Little cannot go, it will be Tyler Shatley on Sunday. A couple other notes. Parker Washington placed on injured reserve last week. I think that's an interesting one, Lauren and Taylor, because obviously you knew you were getting Cam Robinson activated or put on the active roster. DeJuan Smoot, in my personal opinion, and from what I've been told, will play this week against the Colts, so he will be re-added to the 53-man roster. And so Parker Washington was always going to miss a couple of weeks. He was probably going to be inactive anyways, and so in turn, you place him on IR to reserve or conserve those roster spots for those 2 veteran players. Christian Braswell suffered a hamstring injury while the team was across the pond. He did not play on Sunday, and so it'll be curious to see the extent of that injury. On the flip side, Antonio Johnson made his season debut, and I don't know if you guys saw, he was the lead gunner opposite Daniel Thomas on special teams on Sunday in his NFL debut. Heath Farwell and company obviously have big expectations for the 5th-round pick, and so obviously great to see him back from the hamstring injury that has sidelined him for the first 4 weeks of the season. Another one that we really haven't talked about, and we certainly will, is Devin Lloyd, who didn't make the trip after suffering that hand injury week 3 against the Texans. He had surgery, so he did not go over to London for a week and a half. He's been rehabbing here. Doug Peterson, last time we spoke with him in person, said that the expectation is Devin will wear a soft cast and he would be available to play against the Colts. We'll see if he is still on track for that when he meets with reporters tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. This is the Farah and Farah injury update.
Well done. I do think Chad Muma has played well.
Same.
They're a little bit different as far as what you can expect out of them, but I think, between the batted balls against the Falcons and then it's almost like if you don't notice him or have to say his name, then that means he's in the right place at the right time.
Did Muma get the penalty? Was he the one that had the penalty on Josh Allen? The helmet to helmet or whatever they wanted to call it?
No, it was Josh Allen.
Oh, it was Josh Allen.
on
okay.
Josh Allen. Oh, yeah. It was Josh Allen on Josh Allen. If you're referring to the sack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Josh.
I thought I saw
Sackett
Muma at one point do, I don't know.
There was another player. There was a lot of defenseless players. There was a penalty.
Okay, I think that's what I'm thinking of.
It wasn't, I don't think it was Chad Muma. Maybe it was. I don't remember.
I don't remember that.
I just remember them talking
about the refs
about
tried
Chad
to
Muma.
take over the game. Let's also get that out there as we recap last week.
Okay, over 160 yards of penalties. That's just too much.
I saw someone put, I think Nate Davis from USA Today Sports was like, you're trying to grow the game across the pond and there are 19 penalties. That's not a sport that, or if that's what they think it's always like, that people are going to want to come back to.
Correct, exactly. But I'm glad you brought up Chad Muma, Lauren, because I don't think we've really talked about him as a collective on 10-10 enough. The reality is, if you're going to complain about the pass rush, I'm not suggesting Devin Lloyd should become an outside linebacker and a designated pass rusher. However, given the lack of production from some other folks on this roster, do you put him in a 4-3? If you were to move to a 4-3 scheme, just on certain plays, which the Jags say that they are multiple front, they are a multiple front defense.
Mm-hmm.
You go to a 4-3, you play Devin Lloyd as your Sam linebacker, and you blitz him off the edge. I mean, that's when you bring 5 because they're not getting pressure with 4, and you get to keep Chad Muma on the field as well. So I'm curious if he can go this week, if those opportunities will be explored, especially because even if Devin Lloyd is back, I wouldn't think he's playing 100% of the snaps.
Yeah. It'll definitely be situational.
Yeah.
I remember when the Jaguars drafted Ventrell Miller in the spring, Hayes on our show said, I think that's showing that they want to be more 4-3 than 3-4. But
then
to
they
this
lost
point,
him. They lost Ventrell.
Yeah, and then they lost him. And I don't know if that really was necessarily that, but it was a great thought because of, are you adding another inside linebacker to try and change a little bit around what you do? But to this point, I don't think any of us can complain about Mike Caldwell and the job that he's done in year 2.
No, defense looks great.
Other than one game. And you know what? You cannot, for the most part, you cannot look at any team and say they had a perfect 17-game season, right? Like, that's just almost impossible.
Yeah.
When was the last time we saw a team go undefeated? The Patriots in whatever year that was, and they didn't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't even want the undefeated season. I don't even want that.
Give us one loss.
Just kidding. That would actually be really fun.
We already have more than one loss. So.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Taylor will take us around the NFL when we come back. We are live here at the Alhambra Theater. Most people have gone inside now for the dinner portion of the evening, and then Legally Blonde, the musical, will start around 7:30. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, driven by a Tire Outlet on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Being the primary breadwinner in your marriage is a huge responsibility, but that doesn't mean you should continue to be the primary breadwinner after your divorce, too. The attorneys at the Florida Women's Law Group work hard to make sure you're not responsible for supporting your ex any more than necessary. I'm Heather Quick, owner and attorney of Florida Women's Law Group. Learn how we can help at FloridaWomen'sLawGroup.com. Florida Women's Law Group, divorce for women, by women. Offices, Jacksonville.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Beards Diamonds has been busy this fall, getting their showcases ready for the largest inventory of wedding bands in North Florida.
Don't miss Beards Diamonds' incredible Buy One, Get One wedding band sale going on now
At the St. John's Town Center or at BeardsDiamonds.com.
Okay, listen up, team. They're out to test our reputation as the best plumber in Jax, so we gotta play like the experts we are. When customers call with leaky faucets, broken water heaters, toilet repairs, broken pipes, or any other challenge, we'll give them the solution fast. Now, who are we?
Roland Reese Plumbing!
I can't hear you.
Roland Reese Plumbing!
Now that's what a winner sounds like.
Customers always win with Roland Reach Plumbing at plumberinjax.com.
Hey, Jags fans, are you tired of roof leaks raining on your parade? Don't worry, Universal Roof and Contracting has got you covered. Their expert team of roofers will get your roof back in the game so you can focus on cheering on the Jags. Locally owned and operated, they've serviced Florida homeowners for over 30 years. Visit universalroof.com to schedule your free estimate today. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
Tailgaters Parking is gearing up for the most exciting season yet. The best game day parking available is at Tailgaters, where customers get access 4 hours prior to kickoff. A full-service bar and grill, indoor restrooms, security, and more. TailgatersParking.com.
Hey there, Jacksonville. Mike Dempsey here. So listen, I wrapped up with Awaken 180 and slid right into the free maintenance mode. After bidding adieu to 25 pounds in 5 weeks, guess what? Dropped 2 more in maintenance because my metabolism is now firing on all cylinders. 2 more pounds, even with adding foods like bread and, yes, a little ice cream back in my diet. But here's the difference. I'm not eating those things every single day, and I'm not craving foods like that all the time. With Awaken 180, it's not just about shedding that weight, which, by the way, they're phenomenally good at. It's more like they're sculpting a smarter me. But it didn't even feel like learning. They've been at this gig for 9 years, and they've helped over 20,000 clients. Their secret sauce? Free support for life. If you want to lose your weight for the last time, do what I did and call the solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss, at 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
The Jaguars are back and ready for another AFC South showdown. Join the team at Everbank Stadium as they take on the Colts October 15th. Go to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000 for this special game.
Now the Performance Painting High Performance Play of the Game. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
The defense was so hot on Sunday, they made steam look cool. And Jacksonville made sure Atlanta felt that heat all game long. In the second quarter, Darius Williams would read the Falcons like a book, making the interception and taking it 61 yards to the house, giving Jacksonville a 17-0 lead with 4:31 left in the half. The Williams pick six is your Performance Painting Play of the Game.
Does your home or building need painting? For over 20 years, Performance Painting has had the privilege of preserving many of Jacksonville's most prominent buildings. That said, we feel like we're just getting started. I'm Jason Parker, and our team thrives on preparing, protecting, and preserving the homes, businesses, and public buildings that make up our local landscape. Contact us today to put our years of experience to work for you. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting!
Even as prices seem higher on almost everything now, count on Famous Quick Lube to still have the best price in town. Get your oil changed, tires rotated, and fluids topped off super fast for the best price at Famous Quick Lube.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Stilettos and Sabermetrics.
Helmets and heels, driven by Tire Outlet.
Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
And First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
Welcome back into the lobby at the Alhambra Theater. Going to be a great night with Legally Blonde. And again, this musical runs through November 5th. So if you want to get tickets, make sure you get those soon because it is almost sold out. That's how great of a job they do here. I've been here for musicals and plays in the past, dating back to when I was younger. They've renovated it since then, but it is always so much fun. And then I've also been here for some tribute concerts, which are literally incredible. They are like the best tribute band in the world. So I've seen the tribute band for Fleetwood Mac, and the woman impersonated Stevie Nicks so well. And of course, the music's so good. And you can't have a better time than watching Fleetwood Mac music all night long. Upcoming,
that sounds great.
It was so great. And upcoming, I know they've got some really good tribute shows, including Creedence Clearwater Revival, who I also love. So if you're a CCR fan, again, go visit alhambrajacks.com to get your tickets. And again, I keep talking about the food because I'm a food person and also because it is that good. All right, Taylor, what's going on around the NFL? No big stories in the league, right?
Not at all. So I'm going to do a little bit of a overreaction versus reality. And you guys tell me if
I love
what I'm
this
telling
game.
you is an overreaction or if it's just reality setting in for certain circumstances that have happened in the NFL right now. So number one, I had to look up what this word meant because this is a headline I saw on CBS Sports, and it said Cowboys are paper tigers. And I was like, I don't really know what that means, but I guess a paper tiger is something that appears threatening but actually is not threatening. So are the Cowboys...
Instead of like a live tiger.
like a real one. It's just like,
Got
okay,
it.
maybe that's a little scary, but actually not really.
Right.
Because, let's see, they have wins over the Giants, Jets, and Patriots, who we can probably point to. Giants and Patriots are two of the worst teams in the NFL right now, especially offensively. The
By the way,
Jets with
the
that...
Bills play both of them the next couple weeks.
Oh,
Giants.
they're
and then
probably
the
like, thank
Patriots.
God.
I think they are like, oh, we can just literally sit some people to get them healthy and all that. Anyway,
Yeah,
continue.
because they lost half their defense.
Yeah.
And then the Jets without Aaron Rodgers. So those are their 3 wins. But their losses are to Arizona, which Arizona has maybe surprised some people. Now it's starting to catch up with them a little bit. They lose James Conner too. And then they were absolutely annihilated by the 49ers and Brock Purdy. So what are your thoughts on Dallas? Is this another, here we go, Dallas hyped up too big for the offseason type of thing?
I think the 49ers are that good. I think in a chicken or the egg situation, I think San Francisco is an absolute machine. And I think that you can certainly compete with them, but you can't combust the way the Dallas Cowboys did. I think the Dallas Cowboys are better than they showed on Sunday. I think that, the injuries that they've suffered, Leighton Vander Esch potentially now going on IR, Trayvon Diggs lost for the season. The secondary, tons of guys are banged up. That could come back to bite them, but the reality is they have enough talent and depth that they could have hung in that game, but they just completely combusted.
Dak doesn't turn the ball over 3 times.
Correct. They just completely. It wasn't even like they just it was a meltdown.
Yeah,
that's the only way to describe it. So I would expect them to bounce back. I think that unfortunately, with the state of the NFC, the way that it is, they'll be there in the end, just by virtue of the competition. But yeah, it was one of those moments where you were like, are the Cowboys this bad or are the Niners this good? Which I think it's the latter.
How in the world the Bears, one of their 3 wins last year were against the 49ers?
Trey Lance and in the rain, and you were there, and the Taylor Dahl effect. Just those 3 things.
Looking ahead really quick before I get your opinion on that, Lauren, their upcoming games, they have Chargers, a bye week, Rams, Eagles, and then Giants, Panthers, Commanders. So that's just a little glimpse at their upcoming.
Yeah, they're gonna right the ship. I don't think the Cowboys are awful. Obviously, they've got some really talented players, but just like we talked about, the Jaguars are in the Bills' head, and maybe the Chiefs are in the Jaguars' head. I only say maybe because I don't want that to be the case, even though it probably is.
The NFL is in the Cowboys' head.
The 49ers are in the Cowboys' head. The 49ers have taken the Cowboys out of the postseason the last 2 years.
I know.
So I think it's just one of those things that, yes, it's in their heads. And then what happens when a quarterback feels that way? This happens with Trevor at times. It happens with quarterbacks around the league. They press. They try to do too much. They go outside of themselves. And that's, I'm sure, what Dak was trying to do. And in the end, it doesn't work. You have to just stay within your game and play your game. But that's not what happens. We have adrenaline and we have egos and we're human. And so I just think, the Cowboys will look up and they'll be a double-digit win team. But do I think they could win the Super Bowl? Absolutely not.
Is this Bill Belichick's last season with the Patriots? Patriots offense looks bad, very bad. They've been outscored 72-3 against the Cowboys and the Saints.
Yeah, I'm going to go with yes. I think
really.
Yeah, I think he and the organization part ways after this season, and I assume he'll keep coaching, and I assume that there will be other teams that are interested in him. But I think it's just too soured at this point between not having an offensive coordinator, a true offensive coordinator last year, and how things have gone with Mac Jones, and then to get embarrassed the last 2 weeks. It's trending in the absolute wrong direction.
That is a bold take. No, he's not going anywhere. I think that he's going to have to clean house. Absolutely. I don't think Mac Jones, if they continue to go down this road they're on right now, Mac Jones is not the starter long term. Bill O'Brien is not for long in New England part 2. I could see a world in which they say, you know what, we're going to not fold and tank, because I've heard from a lot of 1010 listeners that you don't tank. Tanking doesn't happen. And whatever your viewpoint is on that, the reality is Bill Belichick is always going to lead you to 3 to 4 wins at the very least, like just by virtue of being Bill Belichick. And so I don't think there's a world in which they're picking number 1, but with such a quarterback-rich draft class, I could see a world in which they say we're going to hedge our bet on one of those young guys, and Belichick will rebuild this defense. We saw such promise from their first-round pick, Christian Gonzalez, before he was placed on season-ending IR, and he's going to rebuild it at 77, 76 years old, whatever he is. I just don't see a world in which, unless he's to just say, I'm going to step away and go enjoy retirement.
Yeah.
I don't see a world in which he's coaching somewhere else.
It's Bill's choice, then you're saying.
Correct.
Not the Patriots saying,
He's only
hey, we're done.
71. You aged him by like 6 years.
Well, I got confused him and Saban. Saban's 70.
Saban, I know his birthday's Halloween.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think he's quite that old
Nick
either.
Saban is 71 as
Yeah,
well, so
see?
he will be 72.
You just can't keep playing this like Mac Jones zappy back and forth. Like it looks sloppy the way they keep having to do this, like benching Mac and then putting Zappy and then benching Zappy and putting Mac back in. And
They
then,
didn't
like
just
you
bench
said,
Zappy, they cut him. Like, what are we doing?
And he's already said
Such
Mac's
a
going to
disaster
start this week.
next
Like,
week, yeah.
It's obvious that without a really good defense and one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, if not the best quarterback to ever play the game, the
They're
Patriots
lost.
aren't successful under Belichick. And so that's why I just think everyone needs a breath of fresh air.
So is the Dolphins' offense the most dangerous offense we've seen in this past decade? Here's just a few stats on them. Most total yards in any team's first 5 games passing. They passed the 2000 Rams recently with 2,568 yards. Most points with 181 in any team's first 5 games since 2015 Patriots and the 2015 Cardinals. They lead the NFL in passing yards, yards per attempt, rushing yards, yards per rush, yards per game, yards per play, first down per game, and points per game.
It's wild. I mean, to me, yes, they have weapons that I don't know that we've ever seen that many weapons on one team.
How do you stop all of it? Like, you can't.
But what's crazy is the Bills did, and that's what makes you feel so good about the Jaguars beating the Bills, is the Bills were able to take a team that had just scored 70 points and turn them into an average team, and so I think they're incredibly dangerous. The only caveat there to me is Tua Tagovailoa going to stay healthy all season long.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it so far, but he's still a smaller guy. We've seen him take some massive hits in the past. He's had hip injuries, ankle injuries, and then certainly the concussions. So that's the one area that I would say causes me to have a little bit of concern.
Ding, 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 ding. They will be until Tua inevitably suffers an injury, and then they are forced to turn to Mike White, Jet legend, or Skylar Thompson, which, by the way, Skylar Thompson almost led them to an upset win over the Bills in the playoffs last year. So perhaps they could keep up this trajectory, albeit with a different quarterback and not the one this offense was designed for. Devin Achane.
Who now just is out for
It
a
used to
few
be
weeks.
A-Chain.
Yeah,
when I played
it's
at Texas
A-Chan.
A&M, it was A-Chain. Now
Yeah,
it's
I
A-Chan.
can't keep tabs.
Devon A-Chan. is how you
Devon
pronounce it.
A-Chan.
He
is-
said that's how he wanted it pronounced.
Okay.
Right, but you can't.
After
I watched,
all your years of
correct, like I
college.
watched too much college football for you to change your name on me.
Right.
But whatever.
So, yeah.
I have to now stop and think about it.
Well, between that and Robbie Anderson, I think it's an epidemic
one
down there in Miami.
messes with
What
me.
is your name, really? But Devon A-Chan is out for the next 4 weeks at the very least.
Which
and
he's just
obviously,
been
insane. He's been the second leading rusher in the National Football League.
Yeah.
So I
And
think
I would have loved to draft him if I'm any of those teams that want super speed, because you could see that when he played for the Aggies.
Right. He's a smaller guy, 180, 160, somewhere between 160 and 180, depending on who you talk to. So very curious what he actually is. But the reality is he was built for that offense. But Mike McDaniel is from the Kyle Shanahan tree. It doesn't matter who the running back is. He's going to find a way to scheme them open, to get them into space, and make plays. And so, for me, the bigger question mark is if Tua gets hurt, then that's where you'll see this offense, which, by the way, started out at a meteoric pace a season ago.
Yeah.
Maybe not at this meteoric of a pace, but still.
That's what I was about to say. We are having similar conversations, and then Tua started having multiple concussions, and then that turned into bigger issues, which Mike McDaniel also is probably one of my favorite people. Did you see the quote recently of where he was like, yeah, our goal the whole offseason was to have whatever
the
the
statistical output
through
through
5 weeks. It's just hilarious.
He's very true to himself, which I do love that.
And he doesn't, he'll just say it, with a straight
Yes.
face, not, joking with people. So you're kind of like, he's just who he is.
I like him from afar. If he was the Jaguars coach, I don't know that
Really?
I would find it. Yeah, because I like more, I think, of a straightforward approach. But
I'd be trying to hang out with him. So
Those
final one.
glasses on the
Final one.
sideline.
This is one that we've talked about, I feel like, many times the last 5 years, let's say. Lamar is not a clutch quarterback, is the headline. So this last week, obviously, he had a goal line interception on a 3rd and goal, up 10-8. If that wasn't bad enough, though, he then fumbled on the Ravens' next offensive possession on the second play after the Steelers scored a touchdown to take the lead 14-10. Steelers don't look like a very good football team, but Mike Tomlin will lead them to. It's kind of a situation where I feel like, Bill, like Mike Tomlin's they're going to find wins somewhere, and they do have pieces on that team. But Lamar leads the NFL in the past 3 seasons, turning the ball over 11 times in the fourth quarter or in overtime in one-score games. Is this a discussion, Mia?
About Lamar?
Yeah.
I mean, Lamar's problem is the team around him is disintegrating once again.
Always. Every
How?
year.
Like, how? I just want to know what plague has been placed upon Baltimore that they continue. This year, it's the offensive line, too, which is a scary thought because the running back room, we already know it's cursed. I think they need to do some sort of juju or seance or something down there, up there in Baltimore, because it just keeps happening year in and year out. But the reality is they thought they invested at the wide receiver position. They thought they brought in enough talent that we wouldn't have to hear those questions of Lamar has no one to throw to. Maybe they didn't, though, which is a crazy thought because I thought they did.
Yeah, because the graphics in preseason had their, including Mark Andrews, but their receiving weapons and being like, this could be one of the most dangerous things. And all the jokes were kind of like, if they could stay healthy, but that's not even what's really battling the injuries right now. Like you said, it's the O-line. But I feel like it's the same conversations
every year.
Over and over again.
Every year. And it's the same conversation that Mike Tomlin is undefeated and will be left with the cockroaches and will have a winning record when the world ends. Because that's just who he is. I know JJ said on primetime, it's like as fraudulent gets, the 3 wins the Steelers have, but they keep finding ways.
He does.
It's a week-to-week league, and he finds ways each week.
I'm pretty sure Kenny Pickett hasn't lost to the Ravens. That's
crazy.
That's astounding because the Steelers are not nearly as talented,
No way.
even with the injuries for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson has always been turnover prone. That's just who he is. And yes, injury prone as well, but certainly turnover prone. That's how he was in college at Louisville. That's how he's been in the NFL, certainly. But he's still a dangerous quarterback. So it depends, I guess, on if you think, because he can still be successful even with the turnovers.
Yeah.
It's like Josh Allen.
And I guess we could point to Dak, too.
The bad
because
Josh Allen.
the Dak Prescott conversation all revolves around that. Like, is he clutch because he turns the ball over in these situations? But then you see him in certain games, and you're like, they're good. Like, they're able to be really good quarterbacks and put up numbers that you want to see. But then in moments where you really hope that they can be successful, they fall short.
And there is a difference between being a successful quarterback and being a clutch quarterback.
Yeah.
And like Kirk Cousins, I think we'd put in the successful quarterback category, but we wouldn't put in the clutch category.
For sure.
And Lamar is trending. He's kind of in the middle, I would say, but because he's been injured late the last couple of seasons, we haven't seen him in the postseason.
Yeah.
So we don't know, can he be clutch in those moments?
Yeah.
Dak Prescott is more in the successful but not clutch. And I think what we know we have here in Trevor Lawrence is both. He's successful and he's absolutely clutch, and that's what you want.
Which I will say about the Vikings, now there's rumors again that there's possible Kirk trade scenarios happening. Vikings are 1-4. Just want to say I said it. I said it in the preseason that Lions were real and Vikings were not. But it's wild that we keep bringing up, and all the Vikings fans on Twitter are posting Drake May pictures. That's their new thing now. As Drake May is going to be
their savior.
They better not win again. I mean, right now the Panthers
truly they can't win
have
another
the first
game.
pick with no wins.
And that goes to us, the Bears.
Yeah, and then to you. And then after that, there's multiple teams with one win, right? Multiple teams with one win. So,
yeah, they just got to
they're
lose.
going to win again.
They're going to, for sure.
But, yeah, they had the Chiefs this past weekend. I thought for a second Travis Kelce was done for the season with a Liz Frank injury, maybe Achilles, but then they reported foot, so it was like, okay, that could be a Liz Frank. But then, of course, he came back in the game.
And scored a touchdown.
I'm rolling my eyes if you can't see. We have our Sweet Shots brought to you by Bellwether coming up next. You are listening to Helmets and Heels live at the Alhambra Theater right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Everyone agrees that playing quarterback is the hardest thing to do in sports, yet it's the one thing that everyone says they could do.
Denny Thompson is the Quarterback Whisperer. Friday mornings on The Drill. Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called The Vault. Enter today at jaguars.com/shadows. One winner a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase to enter or win, must be 18 or older and a legal resident of Florida or Georgia. Promotion period 9/5/23 through 12/15/23. For official rules and complete details, visit jaguars.com. Sponsored by Jacksonville Jaguars, LLC.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Are you afraid to buy your next car? Well, have no fear because Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet offer Beaver's not-so-scary pricing. There's no monsters popping up in your rearview mirror with Beaver's peace of mind warranties. Check out thousands of vehicles for sale online and get answers to all your questions with no tricks and all the treats. I promise our team will take away all those fears. Just come see Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville for Beaver's not-so-scary pricing.
Taylor Dahl here for Renewal by Anderson. Upgrade your home with a winning combination of style and performance. For a limited time, get 20% off of every window, 20% off all patio doors, and 20% off of installation. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. Offer expires October 31st. Restrictions apply. Renewal by Anderson, proud to be the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com. License number CGC 1527613.
Hey, Matt Hayes here. Expert Automotive is now open at our brand new state-of-the-art facility on St. John's Bluff Road. As always, every repair comes with a lifetime service repair warranty. Come celebrate our grand reopening by getting a free AC inspection, $50 off any repair, $199 brake specials, and free diagnostics all month long. Call 374-3373 or visit us at our new location at 2190 St. John's Bluff Road. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Mike Dempsey for Dandy Foods, and happy to report that Dandy has brand new goodies out there, only available at select gate locations. 4 delicious new lunch items to choose from. A hot roast beef and provolone, an Italian combo that'll melt in your mouth, spicy buffalo chicken, or a big old juicy 100% beef cheeseburger. They're all served on fresh ciabatta bread, baked locally and delivered daily, just as you'd expect from the folks that bring you fresh, never frozen goodness.
Got that hometown flavor creeping up on you, yeah.
If you've got bad shoulders, knees, elbows, got sprain, strain, or pain in your muscles, PRPrelief.com, PRPrelief.com, best priced PRPrelief.com.
Toilet or shower not draining? Water bill high? So many issues you want to cry? Call Mr. Rooter of Jacksonville. Have your number 2 business serviced by your number 1 plumber. Let us do your dirty work. Call us today.
Mr. Rooter. You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Okay, Gator Nation, are you ready to do that Gator Chunk with your boy E.T.? Brackish Vodka and I have something very special brewing for you at Miller's Ale House for the Gator game versus South Carolina. Join me this Saturday at Miller's Ale House off of Beach and Hodges at 3:30 for the ultimate Florida Gator watch party. We're taking it to the next level, baby. The Ale House is now pouring Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Gather your friends, deck yourself out, and come cheer with me, E.T., this Saturday for the Gator game watch party at Miller's Ale House off of Beach and Hodges.
Baloo for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
You probably remember your first fender bender, but very few can tell the story of their crash with a semi-truck. That's because an 18-wheeler weighs over 20 times more than the average car. You might see it coming, but you probably won't remember much after impact. You need experience on your side. Our forensic crash reconstruction team and truck accident specialists know how to recover black box data and build a case that hits back hard. Your consultation is free. Farah and Farah, Jacksonville.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
Helmets and Heels
On 1010XL, driven by Tire Outlet.
brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
And First Coast Lighting and Fans.
It is Helmets and Heels live from the Alhambra Theater tonight, driven by Tire Outlet. Legally Blonde, the musical, will get underway in just a little bit. And again, if you want tickets to this show or really any others, you better get them quickly because a lot of shows are selling out here at the Alhambra. I know the holiday ones are always sold out. Again, alhambrajacks.com. They do such a fantastic job. And I know, so one of my favorite movies growing up, Steel Magnolia.
Oh, I love that.
Was here at in a play form a few years ago, and we came in, literally I was in the audience like mouthing along with what the, not of course out loud, but mouthing along with the actors and actresses because I've seen that movie a million times.
Yeah.
And they do such a fantastic job. So again, alhambrajacks.com. All right, time for our Sweet Shots, brought to you by Bellwether. JJ, take it away.
Pay close attention.
Braves score 5 unanswered to beat the Phillies 5-4, ending with a historic double play.
Here he comes. Riley in the air to left field. On the run, Marsh. There it goes! Austin Riley has given the Braves the lead in the 8th. Closers don't. He deals a 2-2. Castellanos in the air to right center field. Harris is on the run. Harris at the track. He leaps and he makes the catch. Harper might be doubled up. The throw gets away. The throw to first. It's over. It's over.
Jordan Love throws his third interception of the night as Packers lose 17-13 to the Raiders in Monday Night Football.
Four-man rush. Love. End zone. Intercepted. Good night. Picked off by Amik Robertson.
Zay Jones gets both feet down as Trevor Lawrence completes a 73-yard drive for a touchdown.
Shotgun for Trevor. He drops, looks, fires to the back of the end zone. That ball is caught for the touchdown. In the back of the end zone, Zay Jones for the score.
So, Mia, you gave JJ
I
a
gave
little bit of love tonight.
All the Bravos fans, I had to give them their due because I was like paying attention. We had the 2 TV screen going back at the homestead, and it was one of those things where I was like, no way this is happening. Such a dramatic win for the Braves, and
It was so fun.
It was so fun. That's the best way to describe it. It was so fun. And I said this to somebody yesterday. Bryce Harper, obviously, is a great talent. Akin to Trevor, was given every hyperbole, every heralded possible hype you could possibly have coming out of high school. He has delivered. He has been a top 5, top 10 baseball player his entire career. But I still can't stand that guy. He has a punchable face. And so it was made just so great when that was who was tagged out at first. And also, the Phillies are
He
great.
was just like already running home.
Yeah.
Also, I was like, he's just
right.
going.
Hey, power to him. But no, I think the Phillies are a fun story, and obviously they were a really fun story making the World Series last year. But the Braves have just been so dominant this year. It wouldn't be fair if they don't at least make it to the NLCS.
The roller coaster of that last, because it's like, first of all, heading out where it looks like it's about to go out of the park. Then he robs that. Then it comes up, it misses where he was trying to throw it. So then you're like, oh no. And then it was just like such a roller coaster of emotions. I know if I was Braves, like if that was the Cubs, I would have been absolutely losing my mind. So I can't even imagine how Braves fans and JJ and probably Jeff probably broke multiple things in his home.
Was Jeff awake though? That's what I was wondering.
Oh
actually.
yeah, absolutely.
I was like, did he
that
stay
was still
up?
early.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that late. But yeah, I was at dinner with friends, and it was time to leave, and I had been paying attention to the TV, and I just stopped. And my friends were like, because I'd ridden with friends, and they were like, "Are you ready to go?" And I was like, "Nope, hold on." And so Austin Riley was up to bat, and so I didn't see the Harris-Rob live, but as soon as I got home, I went back and watched it. But it was like, wow. I mean, I know someone who went to the game, Phillies fans who went to the game.
Oh, my God.
And so thinking at dinner, like, wow, great game to go to, up for nothing. And then, like, oh, the
Never
horror.
mind.
Yeah, but on the flip side, obviously, for all the Braves fans, certainly the ones at the station, Fat Tony and JJ and Jeff, like, and Gibby, like, the just pure joy. And that is, like, when people say, like, they're not into sports, I'm like, okay, I totally understand. You know, I love music, and I can understand if you're not, that's just not your thing. But there's nothing like that moment of pure euphoria in sports when the unexpected happens. And, like, no matter how many concerts I've been to or will go to, even my favorite artist playing my favorite song, it still doesn't equate to the moment of that home run or of that touchdown or, you know, whatever it ends up being. And so, man, the 3-pointer, whatever it is.
Because I think I just last week posted where I was like, man, my teams have let me down so many times in my life, but, like, the good moments of it, the fun moments, the Bryant to Rizzo World Series, like, I will never forget that. Like, the joy of that, like, trumps every bad moment that ever happens. Like, when they finally happened, it's worth it. It's worth all of it.
Great call by Brian Anderson.
Oh, it was so good.
Great
I think he knocked over everything in the
Hey, they actually
You hear, like,
registered.
shuffling.
They registered an earthquake on the Richter scale.
Really?
Up by Truist Park. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So that's when you know.
So JJ, what was the game like for you? Obviously, it wasn't going well for a while there, but then the ending was so amazing.
Yeah, it was. I thought the season was over pretty much last night. You know, you're not going to come back down from 2 games, and you only got to win 3-game series. So it was very exciting. But if we don't follow this up with the series win, it means absolutely nothing to me.
Mm-hmm. True. Now, were you so excited that, like, it was take a shot after that happened, or was it like?
Oh yeah, I was drinking anyway because I thought my season was over.
And I can certainly understand that. My sweet shot was Frank Frangi's call of Trevor Lawrence to Zay Jones to kick the scoring off in the game against the Bills in London. Of course, like, the moment that we were all hoping would happen as far as to start fast. Like, that was finally, you felt like the Jaguars offense was starting fast. And then Taylor, you just don't like the Packers.
I had to be just a little petty.
Hey, that's allowed.
I could have put one of the 4 Justin Fields touchdowns or 3 DJ Moore touchdowns, but after last night, I was like, I have to. 3 interceptions, and I read a stat last night or this morning because when I saw the ending, I honestly fell asleep. I didn't see the end of it live, and then this morning I checked my phone immediately. I was like, oh, yes. But Jordan Love on passes thrown over 5 yards in the last 2 weeks, 14 of 32, 5 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. I'm like, well, have
That's what
fun.
we call no bueno.
That's what is not a Hall of Fame quarterback.
And I think if you're a Bears fan, the beginning of the season, Jordan Love looked really good. So you were like, this cannot be happening.
He didn't, though, to any of us. Like, most Bears fans were like, he doesn't. Like, they played us, and our defense is so bad that we kind of were already expecting that. And also, Green Bay exhausts all of their energy on the Bears. That's just kind of how it always is. And the worst and the best of the Bears seasons, the Packers beat us. Like, that's just kind of how it ends up being. And that game, he honestly didn't play that well. We were all like, how did this happen? How did this score happen? Because he didn't play well. And then we kind of seen the progression throughout the rest of the games, like with the way he played it against Atlanta. It was they're playing teams also that haven't been good. So I was like, the real test was the Lions, and they got beat pretty bad by the Lions. And then last night I was like, okay, the Raiders are bad, and the Raiders are struggling big time. And so this could be a game to where it's like, okay, a closer matchup to see if Jordan Love can kind of like bounce back from this, and it just doesn't look like it. And granted, I know it's 5 weeks in, we'll see, but he also sat 2 years behind Aaron Rodgers.
3,
so how
right?
3 years? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was 3.
How long do you wait for a guy like that? Because normally we hear the conversations of, okay, let's give, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and these guys, 2-3 years to really try and get to that level where you think they're like, okay, are they it or not? But how long do you give a guy who had been sitting behind somebody like Aaron Rodgers? Because the Packers definitely have a choice to make, because they do have some weapons on that offense that could be guys of the future, but they have to figure out Jordan Love kind of fast, like the contract year almost.
Right. Right. They did pick up the fifth-year option. So the very least you have him until next year. I would assume he'll play on the fifth-year option. What I think could be kind of nice, similar to what Seattle has done, or the Giants, although that's kind of backfired with Danny Dimes, you could get him, if he's not an MVP candidate by the end of year 2, but it looks like he's ascending, you could get him on a team-friendly 2 or 3 year deal, which allows for you to pay all those other guys and then give him that space to, hey, if you do ascend to become a top 10 quarterback, we'll pay you on top of that.
Yeah, in his year 7.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
I know, I guess.
Right. I mean, that's what they did with Rodgers, right? It's the Geno route, and it's what they did with Rodgers. So, no, there was a moment where Kevin and I were watching the game last night, and I was like, why are we even watching this? Like, this is an awful game. Which, I mean, the ending and the call by Buck that you picked for your sweet shot was, like, hilarious. I was like, yep, pack it up.
Did you see the clip of the Manning cast from it?
No.
Because both of them were kind of the whole time like, I don't know why he's not taking, like, shots down the field and this and when he does. And then, like, the 2 times he did it, he threw picks. So then they were just like, okay, stop doing that. And then at the end when he throws the interception, they're both watching it. And, like, you see their faces, both of the Mannings, like, on the side. And they're, like, looking. And then it's intercepted. And Eli's jaw just drops. And he's like, it just got picked. And Payton's like, oh, no. I was just like, yes.
Have you watched the Manning cast live, or do you only see the clips
I only see
on Twitter?
clips.
Honestly, it's funny, pre-Joe Buck and Troy Aikman would only watch the Manning cast for a little bit there, with all due respect to that previous broadcast team, who I happen to enjoy. But I just was so endeared by them and enjoyed their commentary, and I could, like, be doing laundry and other stuff while just listening to them ramble. But Buck and Aikman feel like appointment television. I feel like I have to be sitting down. I think it's Sunday at 4:25, and I have to be watching them. And so, yeah, I have found myself over the last year and a half, 2 years, whatever it is, only watching.
I can't stand the Manning cast.
Really? I'm not a big fan of it either. I enjoy the clips because I like their like fun reactions of big moments, but watching the thing in an entirety to me, I can't.
No, I can't do it. Like, to me, they're distracting me from the game.
I'm like, I just missed 4 plays because I was watching Peyton's big head.
But it's also, I think I'm just so used to play-by-play and color, and I want to listen to what's happening in the game. So, yeah, it's not for me.
When you watch the college football national championship game, you only watch the standard broadcast. Okay, you don't go to coach's film room or any of that. No.
I didn't watch the alternate Toy Story version of the Jaguars game. I'm not an alternate broadcast
You missed
person. But I know people who, like I said, whose kids absolutely loved it. They wish that it happened every week.
Yeah. My nephew was pumped.
Yeah, see?
He was pumped.
I think and that's awesome. But yeah, the other like coaches commenting.
Yeah, the coaches' film room, or even when they used to put like other ESPN talent in a room together, and like they would talk about the game as they watched it.
Maybe it's because what we do, like I don't listen to a lot or watch a lot of studio shows in general. Like I watch as little game day as I have in my life. Like when I was younger, College Game Day, which used to start at 10, not at 9. They've expanded it since, but like I was obsessed, and I wanted to watch every single minute of it. I loved it. Now I watch as little of that as possible. I don't really watch ESPN NFL Countdown, the Fox ones, and no matter what it is, NFL Network. Maybe it's because that's what we do, that I'm like, I don't want to do that outside of my job. All right, we will get it to college football when we return. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, driven by Tire Outlet on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Every team has an enforcer.
Whether you like it or not, I'm a hard hitter and I'm a straight shooter.
Tommy Mack is ours.
I say it like I see it.
Fridays on Jaguars Today, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you spend a lot of time talking about diamonds, but what about some of the colored stones we see?
Frank, when you talk about colored stones, there are literally hundreds of varieties and species in the gem kingdom. As certified gemologists, we're trained gemologically on the identification of each of these and can separate the man-made synthetics and imitations from the real thing. But at Underwoods, we can go to the next step. At Underwoods, we're active buyers of loose-colored stones in the world markets, so we have an understanding of the values of colored stones as they relate back to the various qualities. In fact, just like diamonds, we buy most of our colored stones loose, then create the pieces of jewelry to hold the gems. You can be assured not only of the authenticity and quality of our colored stone jewelry, but also of the value. So if you're in the market for a fine quality emerald, sapphire, ruby, aquamarine, amethyst, citrine, tourmaline, peridot, or any other gemstone, come by and see us at Underwoods.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
A judge has a gavel. I've got a hammer. I'm Hayes Carlion. It's Hammer Time with Hayes. Weekdays on The Frangie Show on 1010XL. Brought to you by Golden Hammer Roofing and Gutters, the golden standard in roofing.
Did you know the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid never needs to be plugged in? The onboard system charges the batteries for you. When you think Honda, think hybrid. Good for the environment, great for your budget. Visit your local Honda dealer to experience the CR-V of the future today.
Hey, bourbon lovers. Tim Pearson here, founder of Chattanooga Whiskey, the only Tennessee high malt. Now that it's football season, we have the perfect team lineup for you with our award-winning bourbons, Chattanooga 91, Cask 111, and 99 Rye. The trifecta for any game day tailgate. There's no better way to celebrate a win than with the world's best craft producer of the year, awarded by Whiskey Magazine. So get the W this weekend. Drink Chattanooga whiskey, enjoy responsibly.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
At Ratify Credit Union, we know that a dream home is about more than location and square footage. It's about fulfilling the dream of homeownership and all the dreaming that takes place inside. Building a nursery, starting a business, throwing a graduation party. That's why at Ratify, we're more than just home lenders. We're the fulfiller of dreams. With home and home equity loans that prove dream homes do come true. Ratify Credit Union. Make waves. Ratify Credit Union is an equal housing lender insured by NCUA.
Mike Dempsey here with someone who made a huge impact in my life. Paige, the owner of Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
When I started Awaken 180 Weight Loss, it was from my own personal experience, my own personal journey, because for me, losing weight was so impactful. Wearing different clothes was great, and seeing a different number on the scale was great, but that wasn't really the real impact, and that isn't what excites me, that isn't what I'm passionate about. Seeing the change in the rest of my life is what is so rewarding, and hearing the stories from people who have lost 40 pounds, 80 pounds with us, and seeing how that has impacted their lives and their journeys and helped them increase their confidence, help them start their own businesses, help bring their families together and deepen their relationships. That's what it's all about.
Thanks, Paige. Lifetime results thanks to free support for life. Schedule your Awaken 180 at-home consultation at awaken180weightloss.com.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World,
simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
Stilettos and Sabermetrics.
Helmets and heels, driven by Tire Outlet.
Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
And First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
We are live here at the Alhambra Theater. Legally Blonde, a musical starting up in just a few minutes. All the food has been passing by us on trays as they deliver it to the customers, and it all looks amazing. Again, if you want tickets to anything this year, you better hurry because it's pretty much sold out. Go to alhambrajacks.com. You can also become a season member, season partner, and that way you get tickets to everything. Then you won't miss a single show all year long. Again, alhambrajacks.com. We thank them for having us out. All right, ladies, when it comes to college football, Taylor, I'll start with you. You said you are to blame. No. You said you're to blame for Louisville beating Notre Dame. I don't know how that's possible because I would blame Sam Hartman, but take the floor,
well,
please.
his fault, too. I looked at his numbers against Louisville this year and when he played them against Wake Forest. Terrible. I wish someone would have told me those numbers before because I would have just not had the confidence that – well, I honestly was, I guess, not even super confident. I remember last week on the show, I was like, I really don't know what to expect. Yeah. But I was not watching the game. I went to go see the new Exorcist movie, and this is why I blame
Oh, my gosh.
Because not only was I not watching the game, I went to go see – an Exorcist movie.
I have seen commercials for this thing. Have you as well?
Yeah. It's much more Taylor's lane than mine.
This is terrifying.
I know.
This movie
that's why it's fun.
Terrifying. Okay, so I guess pause college football. What did you think about the movie?
I loved the movie. It was fantastic. I don't get scared super easy, and this one actually did freak me out to the point where I yelled a little bit at one part, and the guys behind me were kind of giggling, and my friend that I was with was like, that's not normal for her. Usually she's the one that's just super chill. But it was really good. But when I left, when I got out of the movie and checked my phone, it was entering the fourth quarter, and I was like, oh no, this is my fault.
See, I'd like to say that you're more normal than me, that you can conduct an activity or arrange an activity in the middle of a game that you care about. But the fact that the activity was The Exorcist means you are abnormal. No, I do when it comes to football season, I do sometimes wonder, what is it like to be someone who doesn't have to be in front of the TV every single second, not just of their game, but I started at noon, Oklahoma, Texas. Yeah. And I didn't leave my house all day. I was literally locked in. Well, of course, then Florida played, and then I watched the late games.
And in part of that, college football is not high up on my liking. So I can push that aside for things that I really want to do, which I really did want to go see The Exorcist movie.
Did it just come out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I've been waiting anyways to do that, and just so happened to have a friend that was like, hey, I want to go see this movie. I was like, perfect, I do too.
Because I don't know anyone else that will go see it with me.
My best friend Maria loves horror movies too. Me and her are very similar in that. I even was trying to get her to come see it, but she got off work late. But anyway, so yeah, if it was a Bears game, no way. If it was a Cubs game, maybe a normal Cubs game in July, one thing, but a Cubs game that could possibly mean something. Yeah, anything like that, no way. So there's certain ones that I would not at all. But for me, college football is just not high on my list. I root for them, but they're just not. It's fourth or fifth in my love of tiers.
Well,
it makes sense.
As we're here getting ready for Legally Blonde at the Alhambra, and we're talking about The Exorcist at the movie theater, do you guys know what movie is coming out in theaters later this week?
Some Taylor thing?
Yes.
Some Taylor Swift.
And guess
thing. I saw the thing. I was like, she won't leave me alone.
And guess who may or may not have committed to a girls' night? Because I haven't seen it in a bunch of my old news friends in a couple of weeks. And so
what is it? It's just her concert,
Yeah, it's her
right?
concert, which I didn't see. Kevin went, but I didn't see it. So I was like, well, okay, I can see the concert. I thought when I agreed to it.
Do you like dance during this thing?
They were talking about costumes in the group chat yesterday, so I don't really know. But when I agreed to it, I thought it was Thursday night, the night that it comes out in theaters. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, like we're on remote Friday. Like, I'll sleep in a little bit till 8 and 9 and do the midnight show. Like, that'll be fun. And then one of the girls goes, no, it's for Saturday at 7 o'clock. And we're going to do, like, happy hour and, like, dinner first. And so, yeah. So I'm going to be finding some TVs, though. So watch Washington and Oregon. Don't worry, folks. I will be locked in on that one. And may have to break out the old YouTube TV on the phone because as much as to your point, Taylor, like, I'm not the type that I have to, like Kevin has to park himself and watch College Game Day and watch all the college
I'll
football.
be lying if I didn't say I didn't check the score a couple times during the movie.
Like, I need to watch it. Like, I'm definitely like that. I probably will have a little bit of FOMO, but, like, we had the wedding a few weeks ago, and, like, I was able to, like, break away. But when there's so many marquee games, I was looking at the schedule, and I was just like, I'm not so sure.
It's hard. Like, John Party played at Daly's Place this past Saturday, and it was, like, we can go to that show, or we can watch college football.
Yeah.
And especially when I figured out Florida was playing at 4, we would have had to miss part of the game. Like, nope, that's not going to happen. But this Saturday, Taylor and I are going to a wedding. So it will be one of those, what on earth is happening in my game? But we'll, they're saying you can record.
I'm sure multiple people at this wedding, too, who are also football fans will have on phones if there's not TVs somewhere.
Right.
So we'll be able to see something.
Just take a deep breath. And like you said,
my season no longer matters. So.
And sometimes
hey, you got beat by the Cheez-It National Team of the Week, Taylor. That is nothing to hang your head about.
My season's really not all that important either to this point, and that's really
Graham Mertz played well last week.
He did, but I mean, Florida's not going to play in the SEC championship game. We all know that. So, like, to this point, how Florida does is important, but I'm not missing something that could determine how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah.
Now, it could determine how people view Billy Napier, and certainly that's a big talking point from here on out for the rest of the season. But that one game alone is not going to determine really anything about the season. And as far as college football overall, though, I mean, I never saw Oklahoma beating Texas. Never in a million years.
That was a fun game, though.
It was a really fun game. And that's what, like, when you don't have your team playing, you can relax.
Yeah.
And just sit back
enjoy
and enjoy.
Yeah,
and be like, oh, wow, Quinn Ewers, nicely done. Dylan Gabriel, nicely done. And not have that
I was like, man, they missed
heartache.
Bijan and Roshan at Texas.
Oh, but at the same time, they've reloaded at running back.
For sure, but you could tell towards the end of that game that there was moments where you're like, they wish they had Bijan in those moments. But I guess when you get stopped, and when I'm saying this, you're on the goal line and you get stopped 4 times on your own goal line, Bijan would have had 6 touchdowns that time.
I picked Oklahoma largely because I am still, and how many hours later, I am still waiting for the Quinn Ewers moment. Because, yes, I understand that Texas and Quinn Ewers went into Tuscaloosa, beat Alabama. I understand that. But there was never a moment in that game where I went, whoa, this dude different. I'm still waiting because I didn't see that moment on Saturday either.
Yeah.
And that's why I picked Oklahoma, because Dylan Gabriel, I really hadn't seen that moment before Saturday, but I had heard enough from UCF fans, and I had heard enough from when he was such a highly sought-after transfer that he has that dog in him, that he can be a gamer, and boy, oh boy, did he show it in the last minute of that game. And at the end of the day, quarterback is the most important position in this sport and in all sports. And if you have a quarterback who's a gamer like that, you will win big games.
Yeah.
And what happened with Iowa?
Oh, I mean, like they won, but it was, another good old slugfest. Oh, yeah, we wanted the box score. Yes, we did. So where do we begin, Taylor? Well, we discussed on last week's program about Cade McNamara and his unfortunate ACL tear, which obviously he suffered an injury last year in Michigan, part of why he transferred to Iowa. He does still have 1 year of eligibility, so it's going to be curious to see if he does come back for that 6th year and if he does play for Iowa, because they have Deacon Hill, who is a redshirt sophomore, transfer from Wisconsin. He's from Santa Barbara, California. My man is 6'6", 260. He is a tank. He cannot move in the pocket. This man has a cannon for an arm, but was overthrowing everybody. He started 3 of 13. He finished 6 of 21 for 110 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, a 5.2 yard per throw average, a QBR of 2, Lauren, 2, and Iowa won the game 20-14. Part of it was Caleb Johnson came back from missing a couple games with an injury, and he rattles off this massive 67-yard touchdown the second play of the game. So that obviously helps. And then Deacon Hill had a pretty nice touchdown. One of the 6 completions was a nice touchdown throw.
When Kentucky beat Florida, I don't know what Devin Leary's QBR was, but he threw for less than 70 yards.
He threw 69 yards, so that was pretty nice. This is 110, but
pretty nice.
And I bet the QBR wasn't very good. And
yeah.
You can win a football game even if your quarterback's not all that good. But for people who thought Kentucky was going to give Georgia a game, I was just sitting back laughing. Like, not a chance. Georgia does get threatened by mobile quarterbacks, and Devin Leary is not that. So certainly we'll see what happens later in the season. I mean, I don't think Georgia's going to lose a game, and I don't think Florida State's going to lose a game. And I mean, no offense to JJ's Miami, but that was a game that I was certainly circling on the calendar.
Yeah.
And once a team loses, just so much momentum is lost, especially in the way that the Canes lost. All right, when we come back, we are going to get it to our favorite thing about this time of year. That's right, fall. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, driven by a tire outlet on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Your play-by-play home of Bulls Bulldogs football is 1010XL.
I'm Coach Coden of the Bulls Bulldogs. We're on the road again this Friday night facing Wolfson, and you can hear it as it happens on 1010 AM.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at jaguars.com/shadows. One winner a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase to enter or win, must be 18 or older and a legal resident of Florida or Georgia. Promotion period 9/5/23 through 12/15/23. For official rules and complete details, visit jaguars.com. Sponsored by Jacksonville Jaguars, LLC.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Are you afraid to buy your next car? Well, have no fear, because Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet offer Beaver's not-so-scary pricing. There's no monsters popping up in your rearview mirror with Beaver's peace of mind warranties. Check out thousands of vehicles for sale online and get answers to all your questions with no tricks and all the treats. I promise our team will take away all those fears. Just come see Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville for Beaver's not-so-scary pricing.
For the past 5 years in Jacksonville, J-Dog Junk Removal has been on a mission to put veterans back to work. They have successfully helped over 40 veterans find meaningful employment, and they're not stopping there. Their goal is to reach an astounding 75 veterans employed by the year 2025, all in our local community. J-Dog Junk Removal, veteran-owned, veteran-operated.
The All-Pro Roofing phone line protects you from boring radio.
Hello?
What are you doing here?
I don't know.
Listen for great phone interviews all day on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
The calls have been pouring in.
On 1010XL.
Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying. They can also signal a major problem or electrical emergency. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
888-8-SPARKY. Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
The best time of the year for blue crabs, right now at the Blue Crab Crab House. They've been open since 1996, and they are a staple here in Duval. Sundays, you have the Bloody Mary specials, mimosas as well, $2.50 noon until 5 o'clock. Of course, each and every Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oysters. Right off of San Jose on Julington Creek Road, it is the Blue Crab Crab House.
This is Fast Twitch, a new energy drink from Gatorade.
Fast Twitch, an energy drink from Gatorade in 6 different flavors, including strawberry watermelon, cool blue, and tropical mango. And available at your local Winn-Dixie.
Start fast with Fast Twitch, a new energy drink from Gatorade.
On-the-go energy from Gatorade. Find it at your local Winn-Dixie.
The Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is now offering online scheduling for new patient appointments for all of their physicians. Simply schedule your appointment on your cell phone, tablet, or desktop. JOI is the first orthopedic practice in North Florida to offer this feature to patients. To schedule your appointment online, visit joi.net and click on the button at the top of the page. If you'll be using insurance, be sure and have your information handy. JOI, where the pros go.
Whether it's a mopped floor, a spilled drink, or even a few drops of rain, a slippery situation at a store or business can cause a dangerous slip and fall. If you've suffered injuries in a slip and fall, call Farah & Farah. Our team of investigators will examine the facts to determine if the business was negligent. When it comes to slip and fall cases, the burden of proof is on the injury victim, so contact us right away. When you fall hard, we fight harder. Farah & Farah, Jacksonville.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
The age of light beer is here. Modelo Oro, treasured for its smooth, elevated taste and crisp, clean finish. 90 calories, 3 grams of carbs. It's the gold standard of light beer.
Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels, driven by Tire Outlet.
Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
And First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
Welcome back to Helmets and Heels. 1 segment to go here, live from the Alhambra. We are here in the lobby as Legally Blonde is underway inside. We can hear some of the music.
I love it.
Taylor, so much
fun. We saw the
fun.
cute dog go by.
We did. We saw some of the cast of characters go by, and the cute dog. Yes, they have 2 dogs in it in the play, the musical, and oh my goodness, I've never seen a musical or a play with 3 dogs.
3 dogs. You saw one? They were telling us 3 dogs.
Yes.
Multiple. Yeah, I didn't even ask you guys. We were talking about musicals off the top, just in general, and Alhambra in general. But Legally Blonde, were you fans? I mean, for me, it's on my Mount Rushmore, if you can believe it, of all-time films. The musical, I haven't seen it in its entirety. I've seen the video, the filmed version of the musical. I was very skeptical when they first said, "Oh, we're going to make it a Broadway show," because that's when you hear your favorite movies getting a sequel or a Broadway show, you're like, really? But obviously, it's really gained traction over the past decade because it's still going.
Yeah.
Did you think you were going to be an attorney?
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. My mother's probably listening, and she still wishes I was an attorney, I think, some days. So
that's okay.
But, yeah, no, I think that also just the characters and the actors, Jennifer Coolidge, who obviously in, what's it called, White Lotus, has really revitalized her career, as Paulette, one of my favorite characters.
She's hilarious.
I love Reese Witherspoon is also on my Mount Rushmore. So anything she does, I am compelled to watch.
What's the show that she does now? The morning show.
The morning show with Jennifer Aniston. Yeah, I did. The second season kind of they got a little off the tracks there, so they gotta work me back into that one. But yeah, I mean, I watched Little Fires Everywhere, which was Reese, and
that was really good.
Yeah, that was really, really good. Anything she does, I'm like, I have to watch it because it's Reese Witherspoon. So
Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama is another one for me.
One of my faves.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. So alhambrajacks.com if you want to get tickets. And Taylor, one thing you might be interested in, the Alhambra is hosting Rocky Horror Live starting at the end of the month. It's part of the After Dark series. The doors open at 10 p.m. The show starts at 11. Have you ever seen Rocky Horror Picture Show?
I'm not the biggest Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's more of a comedy.
It is. Yeah, it's certainly not all about the terrorists or not terrorism that you fancy yourself. It's not about fear, but it's a Halloween-ish type ordeal.
We had actually, I think it was my senior year our school, that was the final school
Oh,
play.
okay.
Was that, and it was fun, but it was like more fun because it was people I knew in it, so it was just like a little more entertaining. I like it. It's not one of my favorite, but it's definitely, if you've never seen it, it's definitely one to go see because it's entertaining for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, they've got tribute bands, so tributes to Creedence Clearwater, the Statler Brothers, and Billy Joel. So for all the Billy Joel fans out there, a tribute show to him, I'm sure whoever plays Billy Joel would be, or is the guy playing Billy Joel in the tribute band, would be fantastic. All right, favorite thing about fall, Taylor? I know you love fall. What's your favorite thing about it?
Yeah, probably something that we've just mentioned a lot. I like just like all the spookiness that starts to come once fall hits, because I love scary movies. I love haunted houses. I love just all of the vibes of that type of thing. So I think between that and probably I will say weather, even though we don't get like full-on fall weather in Florida, you still definitely, obviously it feels great. It feels fantastic tonight. It did this last weekend too. So once it comes to that, to where I can start wearing my cute boots and tights and scarves and like cute sweaters, because that's definitely more of my type of dressing, those are probably my favorite things.
So will you go to the local haunted houses?
Oh, yeah. I always try to go to, usually at least one. There's one right up the street that does, and they're actually really good. It's like a half hour long. Like, it's a long haunted house. So it's really...
So you're getting... they're trying to torture you.
For like 30 minutes. Yeah.
But
I just heard
do
about
you laugh?
one.
Like, what is your posture?
You giggle.
going through
I
this?
giggle, like, because I'll jump, and then especially if you're with certain people who are more scared
Like
than you,
screaming?
like, it's funnier. Like, my best friend Maria is hilarious in the haunted houses, so I usually end up having to be the one to lead my group, so I'm like the leader. And
are they allowed to like touch in
No,
these? Because I know
in
like
these ones
Universal is not allowed to touch people.
They're not supposed to. They'll like get as close as possible without it. But I heard about one. Actually, I got an email last week, and I immediately sent it to my friends because they're doing one out at Yulee at one of the shooting ranges. So it's It's an outdoors one, and it's like a walk through the woods trail haunted house.
So it's even creepier.
Yeah,
and you might get shot.
Yeah, I honestly was like, oh, that's a little scary. But I immediately sent it to my friend. I was like, this sounds so much fun, and he was like, you're crazy, but yes, let's go. So I want to try that one this year. They used to have one in St. Augustine that was like the best. It was in a big abandoned warehouse out in St. Augustine, and they made it was like a whole event. So when you walked up, they had like carnival rides, and they had a scary movie playing on a big screen. There was like, you could get drinks before, because obviously you're waiting usually a pretty decent amount of time. So while you're waiting, there's drinks and there's food and there's all this stuff, and then like you kind of get your number called, and once your number calls, you get into like a group and go up. And so it was a whole little thing, and that one was great. And for some reason they don't do it anymore, so hopefully maybe something like that pops up. But
yeah, or maybe the Yulee one is that good. Now, do you also go to like pumpkin patches and normal things?
I'll do pumpkin patches. I like to carve pumpkins. I'll do stuff like that.
Okay.
But I'm definitely more like, give me all the spooky for the next couple months.
I think that's amazing. I think that because I'm someone who gets scared easily, like the thought of putting me in a situation where someone is trying to scare me. So I did a couple years ago, there was a St. John's River Taxi, like the haunted version. And so they had like ghouls on the actual boat. And we went downtown and saw the stadium from the, and there was a little tour or whatever. And it was great, like, a ghost tour type thing, but on the boat. But it was so funny. So the characters, in their masks and everything, they would wait till someone was on their phone to like then get right in their face and or they'd come up like underneath the seats and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And so
that's how they get you.
Yeah, and so the moment it's like, don't pick up your phone because if you can see them coming, you're going to be less scared. But the moment this one person, she kept like going to text people.
Oh God!
And then they'd come up and she'd scream bloody murder, and like that's the only time that I could laugh. But like there were even little kids on it, and so the poor little kids would get really scared.
Well, and that's what. So my first time I ever went in a haunted house, I was in second grade, and I like begged my mom, like, I really want to go into this haunted house at the time.
Meanwhile, I legit
she was scared to watch Harry Potter.
Yeah, literally. Thank you. I wasn't even going to bring that up, but also that. Yes, correct.
But I begged my mom. I was like, I heard there's this haunted house. Can we please go? And my mom was like, you're going to be scared. I was like, no, I really want to do it. At this time, I already liked scary movies, and I had convinced her to let me watch a couple. But we get to the haunted house. We're waiting in line. I'm so excited. And so people that have listened to Helmets and Heels know Scream is like my all-time favorite movie. So we get to this haunted house. We're in the front. I'm with adults. Like, it's my mom, her best friend, like her best friend's sisters, and then me. And they're like, no, I can't go first. I was like, I'll go first. So I'm like walking this haunted house, and I'm going. The first room is like the scene from the first Scream, and where Drew Barrymore's in that first scene, and it's like the house up there. And I immediately was like, oh, this is amazing. My mom's like, my child's messed up, I think.
And that was when you were in second grade.
Second grade.
See, I thought I was messed up because I saw it when I
Oh.
was in the third grade. I think it was like summer before third grade, so right around that age. And it's
terrified you?
Yes, I don't
Yeah.
like clowns to this day, and I just don't like being scared. I've never liked that like idea that something could really happen. Now, when
Yeah.
you go to like, Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, like that they're not going
Yeah.
to really get you. And I guess if you go
You'll
to
like
those,
jump at moments, but you don't feel like you're about
right.
to
You
get,
can
like,
be
murdered.
startled for sure. Yeah. All right, Mia, what's your favorite thing about fall?
Well, I think October is the greatest month of the year. I have always believed that, not just because my birthday is in October, but just because you have football, you have baseball. 9 times out of 10, outside of when we have the weird reprieve of Florida summer, which will probably come in about a week since we've had these nice cooler temperatures the last few days, the weather is optimal. You can, ditch the having to wear, whatever it is that you wear to cope with the insane heat in the summer, but you also don't have to quite wear all the parkas and winter jackets yet. And the food, pumpkin spice,
Yes.
everything, and pumpkin roll. And Denny Thompson and James Coleman love to make fun of me for that, but I am a sucker. I am
For the
basic.
pumpkin.
Yes, I love pumpkin. I actually, of course, I only eat 3 types of fruits. Apples are one of them, though. And, apple cider donuts. Like, everything I'm listing is just, it's just so perfect. And, and it's just the, sports calendar. You couldn't ask for more. This
Hockey
month, so.
starts. Connor Bedard night tonight, just for the hockey.
Hey,
listeners
listen,
out
I had
there.
some friends text in, our Nassau Nooners. They were wondering about when we were going to reference hockey on 1010XL today.
It's
so
coming. It's
you have to wait
coming.
for Taylor to come on the air.
That's true. I've always loved Halloween, but not the scarier sense, more of like the decorations for Halloween. And where I live at the beach, it is so fun to, when I walk the dog in the morning, like see all the Halloween decorations. Some people take it to the like scarier
Yeah.
sense, and other people it's more like just fall decorations.
Does Keaton react to them at all?
There's a giant werewolf in someone's yard that's animated.
Oh.
And so during the day it's not usually
Yeah.
animated or on, I should say. And then but at night, which we don't usually take him at night, but he would in the past
out
there's
about
been
that
like
one.
one time that it was left on and he was like, "What on earth is that?" And he didn't bark cuz I think he was like, "I don't want that thing coming
Yeah.
after me." He's smart enough to know like that thing is like
Bigger than I
cuz it's one of those, I think it's like probably 8 feet tall. You know,
Yeah.
like nowadays people, and I love this, like they go big.
Yeah.
And so you have like the massive skeleton.
Yeah.
It's no longer just like the little decorations that
Yeah.
like we grew up with like a wreath and maybe some pumpkins and some
Yeah.
mums. Like people go all
Yeah.
out. And like I have a little witch that I hang near the front door. And usually like when I first put that up, Keaton the dog is like, "What is she doing back here?" And then he gets used to it. But I just love that stuff, whether it's skeletons or the just the signs that people have. And I don't know. I think it's just, yes, sports are great.
Yeah.
People are in a better mood because the weather feels good. And hopefully the Jaguars continue this winning streak. That's all I have to say. All right, let's check in with Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping the sports world spinning with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
Ricky B., are you a Legally Blonde fan?
Yeah. Yeah, I liked that when they came out years ago. Is that when she goes to Harvard?
That's
Yes.
right. Very well
Yeah.
done.
My daughters loved it, so.
Okay.
And if
Yep,
I
that
remember
makes
correctly,
perfect
did they make a Legally Blonde 2?
Yes, they
They did.
did. Red, white, and blonde, and that was when she went to work in Washington D.C. Again, I told the girls, they didn't believe me. It's on my Mount Rushmore, Rick.
Yeah. I liked it. Yeah, it was a pretty good movie years ago. Yeah.
Well, the
absolutely.
iconic line is, you look like the 4th of July. It makes me want a hot dog real bad.
Real bad.
Yeah, I
I will
remember
say
her
I did
showing
not
up to
know
Harvard
that.
with like that big, huge, pink pen with a kind of flower at the end of it and all that type of stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very extra.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed, Rick. That's all I have to say. All right, Rick, what do you have coming up tonight?
Speak on impressive. How
Yes.
about Ken Shamrock, the UFC Hall of Famer? And here's a guy that I first watched in the mid-'80s when he was still a part of the WWF before it became the WWE. But he's a Hall of Famer when it comes to getting in the cage and fighting, and he's done it all, mixed martial arts. He's done kickboxing. He's in town here to get ready for a big bare-knuckle fight, or fights, I should say. It's ValorBK.com where you can get all the information, but it's going to be at UNF coming up on Friday night, October 27th, and it was just a few months ago, I guess it was maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago, where I had Jorge Masvidal in, and I went to the arena downtown for that, the bare-knuckle fighting. These guys are absolute lunatics. It's difficult enough to box or to be in mixed martial arts, but can you imagine going out there and fighting with nothing on your hands outside of possibly a little bit of tape? So that's how these folks are making their living. So looking forward to having Ken Shamrock. He's going to join us here in studio in about 20 minutes.
Very nice. And did I see that UFC is across the pond this week?
UFC, I believe, is, yes. They're traveling all over. And
They're trying to steal some of the Jaguars' momentum, aren't they?
There's a big one coming up in early November that I'm really excited about, but certainly they do it each and every Saturday night, and that's become global as well. But I'm going to ask Ken Shamrock, because he's into promotion now, and this is his promotion with the big card coming here to UNF in a couple of Fridays. But, I mean, this guy learned under Vince McMahon. This guy's learned under Dana White, among others. So it's interesting when you finally take off the gloves and you take on that whole new world as a promoter. So I'm pretty excited to talk with Ken Shamrock. He'll be in here in a little bit.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Rick.
All right, you girls have a great night.
All right, thanks, you too. We will be listening. By the way, in 2 weeks, on October 24th, we will be live at Ale House, the Tinseltown Ale House, for Brackish Vodka's Espresso Martini Night.
Love it.
Yes,
love me a good espresso martini.
They've got 2 new flavors of vodka, the elderflower as well as the espresso. So we're excited to test those out. And we're going to be rolling out a video series in the next few weeks, too, of all the different creations you can
Concoctions.
concoct. Concoctions, yes, thank you, that you can use.
You can concoct.
Yes, well said. Well said. It's time to go home. But yes, we will have those coming on the 1010XL channels.
All right, so in 2 weeks, on Tuesday the 24th, we will be at the Tinseltown Ale House. We really appreciate the Alhambra for having us out. And remember, go to alhambrajacks.com for all of the tickets that you want to get. And again, you can become a season partner. You can save 20% on tickets that way. We appreciate Tom Champion for making it all happen from here. JJ Silva back at 1010XL headquarters. I'm watching the actors run back and forth, and I'm out of breath as we speak. For Mia O'Brien, for Taylor Dahl, I'm Lauren Brooks. Enjoy the rest of your night, but don't go anywhere. Rick Ballou is next.
Offense is the engine that drives a football team.
Are you kidding me?
The offensive player of the game puts the gas in the tank.
He's gone!
Listen for the Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
It's storm season, and JEA is committed to keeping you informed. In the event of a storm, we'll